Now, I made this statement, and everybody said, well, the tradition, there is a tradition here of being non-traditional.
I would agree with that, I think. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review, but the question is, Daryl Bird of the Catchballs, you buying that or selling it? Is Kentucky really have a tradition of being a non-traditional program?
Originally, I was not buying it because the PA announcer tells me every week at Rupp Arena the greatest tradition in the history of college basketball. And then Cal explained it on that special about how Adolph Rupp was the first to take his team on nationally playing games. How Joe B. Hall was the first to push for Wildcat Lodge for a place like that. So yeah, they are in that sense.
Say hello to Howie Lindsay, CardinalSports.com. Is Kentucky carrying a tradition of being a non-traditional program? Are you buying or selling?
I will give two compliments and a critique. They have a tradition of winning. They have a tradition of fantastic fans.
Here it comes.
They've got a tradition of cheating.
Oh, come on!
They are the most traditional program in all of NCAA.
All right, well, that's essentially what we're doing on the show today. We're going through some topics involving Kentucky and Louisville basketball to determine whether we are buying or selling what coaches and players are trying to either buy or sell us. This segment of the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, reminding you that one text or call could wreck it all. The next topic on our show today is, could this be a team for the ages? Cal says Kentucky fans got to see basketball's version of Halley's Comet this past season.
What this team did for all of us, for business people, for high school kids, for families. Shared sacrifice. Shared sacrifice. Instead of saying, you know, wow, what this team did, when Anthony Davis and Michael Gilchrist take the 4th and 5th most shots, when Darius Miller comes off the bench when he started for 2 years, when the point guard learned to play the position the right way over a period of time, when Deron Lamb and Terrence Jones came back, this should have been their glowing moment, and they sacrificed for their team so that the team could step forward. Shared sacrifice. Why don't we talk about these young people, how they played, how unselfish they were? Well, you couldn't, because you said you can't do it with young guys. Now, the ones that really looked at it objectively and didn't have agendas, that's what you took from this. Forget about we won a national title. It was even bigger than that. And that's why I said a team for the ages. A team for the ages.
All right, there you go, Daryl. Coach is trying to sell that this 2012 basketball team is a team for the ages. Buying or selling?
I'm absolutely buying this one. There's an argument to be made on the 2012 versus 96 team, who would have won. But the circumstances behind this 2012 team, to me, are just remarkable. That Anthony Davis was not the leading scorer, was not the leading shot taker on this team, and so many other components. How Cal managed to get that group to check their egos at the door, to me, is just phenomenal. It goes down on a team for the ages, but one of the better coaching jobs we'll ever see.
Howie Lindsay, buying or selling, this Kentucky basketball team that just won the 8th national title is a team for the ages?
I'm buying that they are going to be remembered for a long time because they hung the banner, but I'm selling it. I'm selling it. Here's why. They're only ages 18 and 19. They're all, so many of them are freshmen and sophomores. I just don't think that the fans got a chance to really know these kids as well as guys that they, grew up with for 4 years and they'll remember forever and ever. 10 years from now, I think it'll be remembered as like Anthony Davis and those other guys.
Well, I'm buying, and I'm buying for the reason that I think if this team, if you take it out of this particular circumstance of the one and dones, and if you could have replicated their opportunity to play together as a team for 2 or 3 years, I think those banners really get hung more profusely at Rupp Arena. I think it was an unusual collection of talent, and dare we also talk about an unusual collection of attitudes, how unselfishly they played, and they really were fun kids to cover.
They were fun to cover and great kids to be around. It's like, you didn't have to say check the egos at the door. They just did. And that is so rare in this day and age. As pampered as all of those guys were in the AAU circuit, to come in and to check all that at the door and to just be a teammate was really remarkable to me.
Topic number 2, Rick Pitino has been building up the newcomer, Luke Hancock. Could Luke be the guy to lead Louisville in scoring in 2012?
I think I'm gonna try my best to take care of the little things. Be a rebounder, play defense, pass the ball, get people shots, and then kind of fill in where I can if I need to score, if I whatever it needs to be. Just trying to help the team however I can.
The fans at the Yum Center will be yelling, Luke, when he's introduced. Will it be because, Darrell Bird, he is the team's leading scorer this coming season?
If he's the leading scorer, that number 1, number 2 ranking is going to be the biggest free fall we've ever seen. I am selling that so bad. No way he's going to be the leading scorer on this team, not with the experienced players who are already there. If you're smart, Shane Bohannon better be up there near the top.
Yeah. All right, Howie Lindsay, buying or selling, the leading scorer in this coming Cardinal basketball season will be Luke Hancock.
I'm selling it as well. I don't think that he'll be Louisville's leading scorer. One, because I think he'll do all the little things as well, but also about Shane Bohannon.
Yep.
You know, you tell Shane Bohannon, hey, I'm going to take 5 of your shots away and give it to this guy. I don't think he's buying that very well.
Well, I'm selling as well because I think any team that's got Siva and Russ Smith sharing the basketball, it's going to be hard for anybody to get more attempts than those two are probably going to throw up. Next topic is six-pack of cats. There's a possibility now that Kentucky could follow up on what they did last year by placing 6 players in the first round of this year's NBA draft.
It would be a neat thing. 5 players drafted in the first round has only been done one time in the history of the sport by us 2 years ago. 6 players drafted in the first round. It'll never be done again if it happens, unless it happens here again. It won't happen anywhere else. So it may happen again, but it's only going to be here again.
You're buying or selling a 6-pack of cats at this year's NBA draft as well.
I am buying it. It's interesting to note that the national people are coming way off that. They're down to 4 players being taken in the first round of the NBA draft. But I can see 6 because when you get down to it, I mean, you're looking at the bottom, you're talking about a Deron Lamb or a Darius Miller. They're just as good as anybody else out there at that level. So I'm pulling for it. It's never happened. Why not?
Howie, buying or selling 6 cats in the first round this year?
I'm absolutely buying it. I think there is a lot of talent on this team. And if I'm a GM, NBA GM at the end of the first round, and let's say, you know, Anthony Davis is going to be gone, MKG is going to be gone, Terrence Jones is going to be gone, but if Deron Lamb is there, I'm taking it. If Darius Miller's there, I'm taking it. I mean, you have to. And so I absolutely believe that the 6 will be taken.
And I am selling because I think when the NBA draft ends that I think we might still see Lamb and Teague still on the board. So
Wow.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking those guys may be pushed back.
Now, Teague might be the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think? Teague might be the guy that could slip. Because there's always room for a shooter in Deron Lamb. There's always room for Darius Miller, a team player.
Yep.
Teague's the guy. I mean, I don't know if I would take him at the
It's
end.
going to be interesting to me to see how much the city plays into it. If I'm if I'm Indianapolis, do I take
Oh,
Teague?
yeah, definitely.
You better believe it. If I'm Portland, do I take Terrence Jones? Yeah, you better believe it.
The next topic is Louisville's Final Four run. Who really should get the credit for it? Maybe it wasn't the players. Maybe it was those infrared uniforms.
No, we're going to put that on the shelf. But you know what? Those uniforms were not only different, but they are the light. What our players love those uniforms is they are paper weight. I mean, they're so light, and that's what they loved about them. It wasn't necessarily the color.
All right, Darrell, buying or selling? Louisville stole Syracuse's road jerseys, wore them in the tournament, and that's why those infrared uniforms, that's why they made it to the Final Four.
I have to buy it because if it's not the uniforms, it only comes down to coaching and talent, and I really don't want to go there. So, yeah, I'll give the credit to the uniforms.
All right, Howie, buying or selling? It's all about the threads.
I think it was a great coaching job by Rick Pitino, but I am buying it, absolutely. I think there's a bunch of theories out there about the weight of the jerseys and all that kind of thing. I think these were so hideous that they caused the other team to lose focus, which means that you can't keep somebody in front of you if you can't bear to look at them because they're fluorescent.
I guess it's kind of like if you're a golfer and you show up in knickers, you better be good, right?
You better be
able to play. Well, I'm selling. I think what Rick did is he pulled together a bunch of teams that got on a good streak at the very perfect time of the year. I don't care if it was shirts and skins. The way they had it rolling toward the end of the year, those guys are going to make it to the Final Four. We come back here on the Red and Blue Review. We're going to continue dissecting college basketball to talk about what you're buying or selling. Right now, Darrell's been selling one of the best books for Kentucky basketball fans to come along in a decade.
I appreciate it. A good place for buy or sell. The name of the book is Celebrate, 136 pages recapping the 2012 championship season, more than 100 photographs as well. Available in plenty of stores, or we can have it delivered straight to your house by going to magazine.catpaws.com.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Explorer or F-150. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes.
Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
I want to be the president.
A news anchor.
A Division I basketball player.
A writer.
An investment banker. A zookeeper.
A surgeon. I want to play field hockey in the Olympics.
I want to go to Columbia University.
I want to grow up and have a family.
When I grow up, I just want to be alive.
Think before you drink.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
The post-game celebration in the locker room, believe me, I danced and we had a ball.
Buying or selling, that's the worst dancing you've ever seen in your life. Howie Lindsay.
I've seen worse. Family reunions, weddings. I don't know what this thing is, though. It's
buying or selling, worst you've ever seen.
Not the worst I've ever seen, no. I give him credit for just relaxing, having fun with his kids at the end of a long, hard journey.
Hey, I'm going to be the last person in America to criticize dancing because I'm telling you, when you see me, it makes you want to be tone deaf. I mean, you don't want any part of it. That's some of the things we're going to jump into as we're talking about the things that we're buying and selling among college basketball, especially with the Cats and the Cards. Let's look back at Rick Pitino's recruiting class, the last one that came in and made it to the Final Four. Now, there have been some talk that perhaps this recruiting class has actually been underrated.
Much better class than, I think you guys pretty bullish on it, but it's a much better. Kevin Ware, Wayne, Shane, Zach, Angel, Luke. We've got some strong basketball players.
Okay, Darrell Bird, that class was ranked 9th in America when they were signed out of high school. Buying or selling, it was underrated at number 9.
Nah, I'm selling it. Outside of Shane Behan, and I'll give him the credit. Everybody else has got to go prove it. I mean, UK's recruiting class was number 1 and kind of proved it very nicely, winning a national championship. So go prove something, then we'll talk.
Howie, buying or selling, that recruiting class at number 9 was a miscarriage of justice.
I'm buying that because I think about how good Shane Behanan was as a freshman, how good Wayne Blackshear will be, and the other reason I'm buying it is Luke Hancock was not included anywhere. In those rankings, they typically do not include transfers, and he's going to be a big contributing transfer. Then you think about guys who are coming along like Zach Price. This class is going to be very good before it's all said and done.
Now, I'm selling because I actually think 9th sounds about right for this bunch that came through with what they did, with the injuries they had. I mean, Wayne Blackshear, I mean, he was in and out of lineups, injuries. How much can Louisville depend on him now?
Well, and that's really the question. Is he ever going to be the player that he was in high school? In high school, he's phenomenal. I mean, just dunking on people. It's so aggressive and so unbelievable. You got to remember, he was player of the year in his area over Anthony Davis. I mean, you know, so is he going to be that good in the future, or is that, you know, constant threat of injury going to hold him back?
Next question up for debate is, we started this show with Cal talking about Kentucky now being a non-traditional program, and part of that goes back to his idea to start scheduling at least a few games every year in large stadiums like football stadiums.
What advantage do we have? We can fill football stadiums. Is there another program out there that can do that? I don't know. I know we can. Now you say, why is that important? Because I don't care about anybody else's program. I care about our program. It's important because in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, what kind of building, Sam, are you playing in? Football stadium. Okay, now, what if I have a young team that's never played in a football stadium, but's good enough to win the national title, and I decide it's more important that we play these 3 teams than prepare them for the NCAA tournament. Now, not every game, Sweet 16 game, would be played in a football stadium. 2 of them would. The other 2 would not. Well, which stadium do you think the NCAA is putting us in? The football stadium. Why? Because we're bringing 35, 40,000 fans. So we're going to be in football stadiums. Let me ask you this. You get through and you're in the Final Four. What kind of stadium is that played in? It's played in a football stadium. So here we are at the University of Kentucky, the one program that during the season can prepare for that venue. And we're going to say no because we want to play this team, that team, that team. Those teams don't matter. It's having us prepared for the NCAA tournament.
All right, Darrell, it is controversial, buying or selling. Cal's got the right to move UK basketball games into football stadiums.
I'm absolutely buying it. Why not? It's just a follow-up of his. Since the day he walked in the door, he came out against the SEC tournament, and a lot of people went nuts over that. How can you criticize, how can you say the SEC tournament means nothing? Everything he does is pointed toward the NCAA tournament, the Elite 8, the Final Four. That's his only focus, and if he can do anything to help that process along, go for it.
Howie, buying or selling, Cal has the right to move those basketball games into big houses.
This may shock you, but I'm buying it. I think that he's absolutely right here, and here's why. Name another sport where if you're preparing for your postseason, where everything's so important, you wouldn't try to prepare in the best way possible. If they're going to move it into these venues that are really hard to shoot in, that are completely different atmospheres, that are completely different playing surfaces and all that kind of thing, wouldn't you want to prepare on that? So yeah, I think you should play at least one game a year in a football stadium. Where I disagree with him is, the whole Indiana series and all that mess and trying to mess up the schedule that way. But if you got the opportunity to prepare in a stadium like that for the postseason, you have to take it.
And I'm buying as well because I think what Cal is doing here, not only is he looking forward to the NCAA tournament and the Final Four, I think what he's trying to do is create Kentucky and establish them as a predominant national brand of college basketball. I think for most of us growing up, when you said college football, the first team you thought of was Notre Dame because they scheduled across the planet. And I think that's what Cal's doing here. I think he's helping to kind of take some of the light off of Duke and North Carolina and Michigan State and back in the days UCLA, because if you have Kentucky playing in these large arenas where you're going to get 70 to 100,000 folks, not only do you have a lot of eyeballs there, you got attraction from all over the country, which helps not only in building your brand, but recruiting your players.
I wonder too, Duke started becoming a national program. I wonder if it can be done in basketball. Is it more regional or can you be a national program? I think Kentucky could do it with as many fans as they've got everywhere else, but I just wonder about the home fans. Are the home fans going to be upset when their games are being moved to football stadiums?
And I think that's the big question, Darrell, and I agree. I think a lot of times when you look at that Kentucky schedule, and Louisville has the same problem with some of the preseason games, we like to call them a pre-conference.
Right.
Some of those things are dreadful. Even us covering them are bored to death, sitting there watching them play in these hyphenated schools. If I've got my choice between covering Kentucky live against Marist, or they're on the road and I'm watching it on television in front of 70,000 against Duke, I'm going with that game.
Yeah, and if you're Calipari, you have a choice. Do I anger fans or do I have a chance to snare recruits who are sitting out there in high school saying, have you seen this? They're playing at Cowboy Stadium. Are you kidding me? They'll want to jump on and be a part of that. Smart move.
Next topic up to debate really hinges very nicely off what we've talked about. Kentucky is one of those programs now with John Calipari that is a two-pronged lightning rod. You either love them or you hate them.
I think people are happy where we are. I think people are happy that kids are doing well academically. I think they're happy we're not a traditional program. And the people that are not with Kentucky, you know, it's kind of like being Notre Dame football. You either love them or you absolutely hate them. Well, guess what? That's coaching here. And do you honestly think, I don't need to say much to our fans, and I try to keep them informed. But they don't need to hear what, they're with us. And those other people, it doesn't matter what I say. They're not with us. We can't worry about them. We do what's right for our program and our...
All right, Daryl, buying or selling, there is no middle ground when it comes to the Big Blue. You either love them or you hate them.
I'm selling only because I'm going to defer to Howie, who on the outside can give me a better perspective on it. Maybe I'm too close to Kentucky to think that out across the nation, most people hate UK, or you know, the few who like, but most people hate them because they're so good, they've been on top, and everybody likes to cheer against the team that's on top. But so I am selling that because I just don't see it.
All right, Howie, we waited for your response to this. Kentucky, a two-pronged lightning rod with Cal in there. You either love them or you hate them.
It's exactly that. I think that I'm absolutely buying this concept because Kentucky is so far out there. They've pushed themselves, and Cal does this as well with his outlandish comments and all that kind of thing. He's pushed himself so far into the forefront that you have to have an opinion. I think on one hand it's good for Kentucky because if you're a program that people just don't have an opinion on, like as good as Baylor was this last year, if somebody asked me, what do you think of Baylor? I'm like, I don't think of Baylor. Like, why would I think of Baylor? But Kentucky is so far out there, you have to have an opinion on them, and I do think it's either love them or hate them. And you know, from the travels that I have, from the people I talk to, there are a lot of people outside of Kentucky that hate him.
And I'm also buying, and I'm buying because Cal has really become the lightning rod, to borrow Daryl's term, for everything that's wrong in college sports. He's blamed for the one and dones. He's blamed for, well, you name it. And if they start moving more and more games off campus and that becomes more of a trend, he's going to get blamed for that. Well, we've got plenty of blame that we always throw the red way on the show from week to week. To keep up with Planet Red, Howie's got you covered on CardinalSports.com.
Absolutely. Buy or sell, whatever. Buy CardinalSports.com. If you're a Louisville fan, you need to get on there. It's the best way to keep up with your team. Football recruiting, basketball recruiting, all kinds of stuff. Check it out at CardinalSports.com.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Explorer or F-150. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes.
Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
I want to be the president.
A news anchor.
A Division I basketball player.
A writer.
An investment banker.
A zookeeper. A surgeon.
I want to play field hockey in the Olympics.
I want to go to Columbia University.
I want to grow up and have a family.
When I grow up, I just want to be alive.
Think before you drink.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
Welcome back to the Red and Blue Review. We're talking about buying or selling, and one of the difference makers for this Kentucky National Championship winning team was, in fact, Darius Miller, the kid that really did endure a whole lot to get to a championship game for the University of Kentucky, set aside his pride and his ego and his numbers and all that kind of stuff. Cal says it would be a mistake for an NBA team to pass on Kentucky's first guy off the bench.
I'm superstitious. I'm taking Darius Miller. He won a state title, he won an NCAA title, and I'm telling you, he'll win an NBA title. He's on my team, and he's going to be picked by one of those teams. Like, are you ready? The Thunder, the Miami, one of those teams that's going to be from 25 to 30. Maybe he goes even lower because someone at 21 says, we have a chance of winning it all. Let's get him. He'll bring that to us.
All right, Darryl, you've covered him for years now. NBA teams, they would be smart to take Darius Miller. You buying or selling?
I'm absolutely buying it. Once you get down to that part of the draft and you've got a proven quantity, proven winner in Darius Miller versus somebody that was pretty good on a team that didn't do very well in the tournament, I'm absolutely taking Darius every time.
All right, Howie, how about you? Buy or sell Darius Miller? It would be a mistake for any NBA team to pass on Kentucky's number one.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a mistake for any NBA team, but if he gets out of the first round, that is absolutely a mistake. So I'm buying it. I want some NBA team to pick up this kid. A winner is a winner is a winner, and he's going to win. He's a great kid too.
Now, I'm actually making it a sell, and here's the reason I'm making it a sell. I think in a lot of Darius's games, he disappeared, and I'm wondering if that's a concern for NBA general managers. We'll discuss it some other time on Red and Blue.
When you visit Kentucky and savor some of its unique experiences, you'll be surprised by how much your vacation really comes to life. To plan your Kentucky vacation, call today or visit KentuckyTourism.com.